Hello everyone, how are you all? I hope you all are fine. This is your chemistry lecture of grade 10th, and I am your chemistry teacher Aparna Pandey from Art and Progressive School, Lamachor. So students, as you all know that we have completed our chapter number 1, chemical reactions and equations. So now it's time to start the new chapter, that is chapter number 2. And its name is acids, bases and salts. So the chapter that we are going to start today is acids, bases and salts. Now in this chapter beta, we have to learn about the physical as well as chemical properties of acids, bases and salts. So what are these acids, bases, salts, from where these came? So student, as in class 9th you all have studied that when we combine two or more elements together, they form compounds, right? This you all have studied in grade 9, that when we combine two or more than two elements, then they form a different type of a compound. So beta, the compounds which are formed, they can be categorized into three types. The compounds which are formed after the combination of an elements can be categorized into three types. And what are these three types? So these three types are acids, bases and salts. The compound which we get after combining the elements can be categorized into the three types, and these three types are acids, bases and salts. So now whenever we do study of anything or whenever we see anything, what first that we notice? Its physical appearance. It's how that thing actually looks, how that thing gives us the feeling. That is our first, that is the thing that we see first, that is the thing which we notice first. So according to that, when we talk about such properties which are visually can be seen or felt, these are called the physical properties, right? The properties which we can directly come to know are called the physical properties, and the properties for which we have to see after doing the reactions, that what type of results they are showing. So such properties are called the chemical properties. So when we talk about the properties, see students, here we have to discuss each and every topic one by one. So here I am going to start today's class with acids. So first today we are going to discuss about acids. Now what do you mean by acids? So I hope that you all have taken the juices, different types of juices, okay, and you all have ate that curd. Then another thing is that you all have tasted the vinegar, that is we used to put at the time of cooking chowmin also, noodles also. So what is this? Vinegar we have, curd we have, and I told you about the juices we have. But common thing these items have, that, and I hope that terminate we call that imli. So many of you have tasted that, if you have not tasted directly, but it is the quantity of that in some other flavors you all have tasted, I hope. So you know that what type of taste these items have. So beta, these all items have the sour taste. These all items have the sour taste. S-O-U-R, sour taste. Sour taste means khatta taste. So why these items have sour taste? So the acid that is present in these items is responsible for its sour taste. The acid that is present in all these items is responsible for its sour taste. So first of all, the very common thing that we say about acids, that they are sour in taste. Okay. So first thing that we can say related to acids, that acids are sour in taste. Now, but now question arises that is it possible that every time we can taste the acids? See students. So as we know that acids have sour taste, but it is not possible to taste every acid because many acids are harmful also. Then how we will come to know that whether the given item contains acid or not? So beta, for this we have some definition that tell us that how we will come to know about the acids. हम acids को पहचानेंगे कैसे? So see. So what we can say that a substance which liberates H positive ions on dissolving in aqueous solution are called acids. How we will come to know about the acid? What I said, the substance that liberates H positive ions. The substance that liberates H positive ion on dissolving in aqueous solution are called acids. Means whenever we dissolve any solution or whenever we dissolve any substance in aqueous solution and that substance is liberating H positive ion, then we can say that this particular substance is an acid. Now, here you have to notice one thing that I said, whenever the substance liberates H positive ion on dissolving in aqueous solution. On dissolving in aqueous solution means if the substance is not dissolved in aqueous solution, if the substance is in dry state, then it will not liberate any type of H positive ions. Then it will not liberate any type of H positive ions. So what we come to know about the acids, that acids are sour in taste. Acids are the substances which liberates H positive ions when we dissolve them in aqueous solutions. Now student, when we talk about the acids, so most acids we get from the nature only. So many acids are natural acids. Now from nature also, the acids that we get from nature also can be categorized into the two categories. These can be, the acids can be of two types. Either we get them from the minerals, means either we get them from the rocks and stones, okay, or either we get them from the plants and animals, okay. So what I told you, that acids we get, most acids are the natural acids, and in nature we get acids from the two sources, either from the rocks and stones or from the plants and animals. So student, the acid that we get from the rocks and stones are called the mineral acids. The acids that we get from the rocks and stones are called the mineral acids, okay. And the acids that we get from the plants and animals are called the organic acids. The acids that we get from the plants and animals are called the organic acids. So acids are sour in taste. They liberate H positive ion. Acids we get from the natural resources. These can be divided into the two parts according to the source from which we have obtained. So these are rocks and stones, and it can be the plants and animals. When we talk about the rocks and stones, such acids are called the mineral acids, and when we talk about the plants and animals, such acids are called the organic acids. Now let's see the example of the mineral acids and organic acids. See, the acids like HCl, the acids like H2SO4, the acid like HNO3. These are called the mineral acids. Acids like HCl, H2SO4, HNO3, these all are called the mineral acids. Hydrochloric acid, sulfuric acid, nitric acid. What are their names? Hydrochloric acid, sulfuric acid, nitric acid. These acids are called the mineral acids. Now what are the organic acids? Organic acids like acetic acid, CH3COOH. Then we have lactic acid, LACTIC, lactic acid. Then we have this is our acetic acid, this is lactic acid. Then we have CITRIC, citric acid. What are these acids? These all acids are our organic acids. Okay, so these are the examples of organic acid. These are the examples of mineral acid. What I told you, acids can be two types depending upon the sources from which we have obtained them. So mineral acids are HCl, H2SO4, HNO3. Organic acid are CH3COOH, that is acetic acid, then lactic acid, then citric acid, tartaric acid, and many other acids are there which comes under the category of the organic acid. Now some acids are, now we have categorized according to the resources. Now student, acids are also categorized according to their strength. When we categorize the acids, then they can also be categorized according to their strength. So when we talk about the strength means which one is strong and which one is weak, right? So when we talk about the strength of the acids, we can categorize the acids into the two categories. What are these? Strong acids, and then we have WEAK, weak acids. Okay, but I told you that when we talk about the strength of the acids, because here we have many types of acids, so some acids are strong and some acids are weak. So according to that, we can say that acids are of two types, strong acids and weak acids. Now how we will say that? First let's see that which acids are the strong acids and which acids are the weak acids. So beta, when we talk about the strong acids, then we have only HCl, H2SO4 and HNO3. Means we can say that strong acids are the mineral acids. Strong acids are the mineral acids. We call mineral acids as strong acids, and their example are HCl, H2SO4 and then HNO3. When we talk about the weak acids, so weak acids, these are usually our organic acids. These are usually our organic acids. Now just think over it student. As I said that acids are sour in taste, and then I told you that we cannot taste the acids. We cannot taste every acid because many times they are very harmful for us. So this is the reason that acids which we also call the edible acids, the acids that we can eat, these comes under the category of the organic acid, like lactic acid that is present in milk. Then we have citric acid that is present in many citrus fruits that you eat. Okay, acetic acid that is present in vinegar that we eat. So these acids are the organic acids and these acids are the weak acids, and that's why these acids are also edible acids. here the examples of the organic acids can be citric, it can be acetic, it can be lactic and many more. Tartaric. Okay, so these are the examples of the organic acids. So what we come to know till now that mineral acids are also called the strong acids and organic acids are also called the weak acids. So this we have said that okay, we can categorize the acids according to their strength as weak and strong. Then here comes question that why we are saying these mineral acids as a strong acid and why we are saying these organic acids as a weak acid. So beta, if you see the mineral acid, suppose HCl. So this is our mineral acid. Now the acids which dissociates completely when dissolved are called the strong acids. Why we saying why we are saying some acids that strong acids? Because the acids which dissociates completely on dissolving in aqueous solutions, such acids are called the strong acids. For example, HCl. Now you all know very well that HCl dissociates into H positive and Cl negative. Is it or not? We can dissociate HCl into H positive and Cl negative. So whenever HCl dissociates, it forms H positive and Cl negative, no other thing. Right? Similarly, we have means the HCl is getting dissociate completely. Similarly, suppose we have H2SO4. So here also what we can see that when this H2SO4 will dissociate, it will also get break down into 2H positive and SO4 negative. So what is this? Actually, here this also we can say that this H2SO4 dissociates completely into the 2H positive and SO4 negative, means nothing is left now. The H2SO4 has lost its identity and it dissociates into H positive ions and SO4 negative ions. Now, from here students, you can also notice that, as I told you, that when the acids are dissolved in water, or dissolved in aqueous solution, they liberate H positive ion. So whenever here we are dissociating the acids, they are liberating H positive ion. So what is this? From here also we can say that yes, these are acids because they are liberating H positive ions. Now then, why we said that organic acids are weak acids? Because when we dissolve organic acids into aqueous solution, they do not dissociate completely. They dissociate. They also liberates the H positive ion, but they do not dissociate completely. So the acids which do not get dissociate completely are called the weak acids, and the acids which get dissociate completely are called the strong acid. Now why I am saying that CH3COOH is not getting dissociate completely? Because when we take CH3COOH for dissociation, then what it will form? It will form CH3COO negative plus H positive plus the other things. Again CH3COOH will left. Means in this way, somewhere this acetic acid will left, means it does not get dissociates completely in one time. So that's why these acids are called weak acids. So I hope students till now it is clear to everyone that the strength we say that is strong and weak according to their dissociation power. Now we have discussed about the acids and I told you that they must liberate H positive ion and they have the sour taste. These are the things that we have discussed related to acids. Now let's discuss about the base. So when we talk about the base, student, so in the same way, base also has some physical characteristics like base are bitter in taste. As I told you, acids are sour in taste. In the same time, we can say that bases are bitter in taste. Okay. So I can write here that bases are bitter in taste. We are talking about the bases. Bases are bitter in taste. Bitter in taste. Okay. Bases are bitter in taste. First thing. Another thing that we can say related to bases that they have a soapy touch. Bases have a soapy touch. Soapy touch means when we touch the base items, they are quite slippery. They are quite slippery. So we can say that bases are bitter in taste as well as they have soapy touch. Soapy touch. Okay. Now students, this we have said simply according to the physical appearance. Now according to the definition or in the terms of chemistry, how we will come to know about the base then? So again, as we have given the definition of acids, we will also give the definition for bases. So what we will say? That a substance which liberates OH negative ions. The substance which liberates OH negative ions when dissolved in aqueous solution are called bases. ऐसे सब्सटेंस जो कि OH नेगेटिव आयन लिबरेट करते हैं, ऐसे सब्सटेंस जो हमें OH नेगेटिव आयन देते हैं when we dissolve them in aqueous solution, then such substances are called bases. Okay? तो वो सब्सटेंस जो हमें एक्वस सॉल्यूशन में डिसॉल्व करने के बाद OH नेगेटिव आयंस लिबरेट करते हैं, ऐसे सब्सटेंसेस को हम बेसिस कहते हैं. सो यू कैन सी दैट फॉर बेसिस लिबरेट्स व्हाट बेसिस लिबरेट्स OH नेगेटिव आयंस. बेसिस लिबरेट्स OH नेगेटिव आयंस. नाउ द एग्जांपल्स ऑफ द बेसिस आर, जैसे ऑर्गेनिक में तो मैंने आपको बताया था मोस्टली दे आर नेचुरल. सो इन केस ऑफ बेसिस इट इज नॉट लाइक दैट, they have a mixed type of things. So when we talk about the bases, the examples are sodium hydroxide, potassium hydroxide. Okay, so how we write them? NaOH. The examples are sodium hydroxide. Sodium hydroxide. Now what is this sodium hydroxide? This is NaOH. This OH you can notice here. So this OH is responsible for the basic nature of sodium hydroxide. Similarly, we have potassium hydroxide. Potassium hydroxide. Now simply I am writing KOH. So we have potassium hydroxide, KOH. So what we can see student here, that these bases, these substances have OH, and how these substances are liberating their OH when these are dissolved in aqueous solution. So such substances which have OH or which liberate OH on dissolving in aqueous solution are called the bases. Now some other bases we have like calcium hydroxide, CaOH2, MgOH2, aluminium OH2. So these all are our basic compounds. These all compounds are basic compounds. Now again, as in terms of the strength, we said that there are strong acids and weak acids. In the same way, when we we talk about the strength of the bases, then we can say that we have strong bases and the weak bases. Okay, so in the same way, when we talk about the strength of the bases, then we can say that we have strong base and weak base. Okay, strong bases, base and weak base. Now what are the strong base or what are the strong bases? So these are like sodium hydroxide and potassium hydroxide are the strong base. Sodium hydroxide and potassium hydroxide comes under the category of the strong base, and rest all the bases comes under the category of the weak base, like calcium hydroxide, magnesium hydroxide, these all comes under the category of the weak base. Now you know very well that why we are saying them strong and why we are saying them weak, because at the time of dissociation, the strong bases will get dissociate completely, whereas the weak bases will not get dissociate uniformly or completely. For example, let's see, we have NaOH. So how this NaOH will get dissociate? So in this side you can see, this I have taken sodium hydroxide. Sodium and hydroxide. Now students, you know very well that this is sodium and this is OH. So when we dissolve this sodium hydroxide and in aqueous solution, it will get dissociate into Na positive plus OH negative. Now what we have to see, we doesn't have any we don't have to see that what we are getting here, because the role is of this ion. So wherever we will get OH negative ion means that compound is basic in nature, right? Suppose again we have KOH. Okay, again suppose we have KOH. Here I am doing. Suppose we have KOH, then it get dissociates into K positive plus OH negative. So this OH negative is telling us about the basic property of the potassium hydroxide. It is telling us the basic property of the potassium hydroxide. So related to bases, what we come to know now, that bases are bitter in taste. They have a soapy touch, right? Then when we dissolve bases in an aqueous solution, they liberates OH negative ions. The examples of bases are sodium hydroxide, potassium hydroxide, calcium hydroxide, magnesium hydroxide, aluminium hydroxide, etc. Now, as we know about the bases, so we have to see according to the strength that which bases are the weak bases and which bases are the strong bases. So in terms of strength, we come to know that bases like sodium hydroxide and potassium hydroxide are strong bases because they get dissociates completely, okay, when we dissolve them in solution. And the bases like calcium hydroxide, magnesium hydroxide, they do not undergo complete dissociation, so they comes under the category of the weak bases, right? Now student, when we talk about the acid and base, so every time it is not possible for us to taste the acid or base or to touch the acid or base, okay. So then how we will come to know that the given substance is acid or base? So beta, for predicting whether the given substance is an acid or a base, we have different types of indicators. indicators. We have different types of indicators which help us to detect that whether the given substance is an acid or base or neutral, right? So let's talk about the indicators. What are indicators? Now students, the new topic that we are going to discuss here are indicators. So like indicators, what is the role of indicators? That in our daily life also, indicators gives us the idea, indicators give us the idea that to which direction we are going to move, or the person is going to turn in which direction. So in the same way, indicators in terms of chemistry also give us the basic idea that whether the given substance is acid or base. So we use indicators for testing the compound, that whether it is acid or it is base. So what are indicators then? These are the dye. These are the dye which change their color, and by changing their color they give us the induction that whether the given compound is acid or whether the given compound is base. Okay. Now, what are these? These are the dye which changes their color to tell us the information about the acids and base. When we talk about the indicators, so we have different types of indicators. Some indicators are natural indicators and some indicators are synthetic indicators. Okay. So when we talk about the indicators, we have different types of indicators like litmus, LITMUS, litmus paper, the most common one. Then we have phenolphthalein. Then we have methyl orange, METHYL, methyl orange. Then we have turmeric, TURMERIC, turmeric. Then we have red cabbage, REDCABBAGE, red cabbage, and onion, and many other. Okay, so these are the indicators which give us the idea about the acids and bases by changing their color. Now, these indicators are natural as well as synthetic. So first let me tell you about from these that which are the natural one and which are the synthetic. So litmus paper is our natural indicator. Okay, litmus paper is our natural indicator. Phenolphthalein is synthetic. This we produce in the lab. Similarly, methyl orange is also a synthetic indicator. Then when we talk about the turmeric, you all know that it is our natural indicator. We get turmeric from the nature only. And related to red cabbage, this is also natural indicator. When we talk about the onion, this is also our natural indicator. So these are the indicators, and with the help of these indicators we can test the given substance that whether it is acid or it is base. So now, how now they will, as I said that they will give the test. So how they will give the test and what color they will show, because I told you that they show the acidity and basicity, or we can say they show the acidic character or basic character by changing the color. So let's see that how color changes and how they show us that whether the compound is acid or base. So students, when we talk about the litmus paper, it is available in two forms. Okay, litmus paper is available in two forms. One is red and another one is blue. Okay, the litmus paper is present in two forms, red litmus and blue litmus. Now, whenever we take the litmus solution and it gets changes into red color, then the given compound is acidic in nature. The red color shows the acidic nature. The red color of the litmus paper shows the acidic nature. Similarly, when we have blue litmus or blue solution of the litmus paper, then we say that it is showing the basic character. It is showing the basic character. Now, what is this? Acidic character is due to the red color and basic character is due to the blue color. Means whenever you have a blue litmus and you are taking it to check that whether the given substance is acid or base, and if after testing the color of the litmus get changes from blue to red, so the red color shows the acidic nature. If blue litmus get changes into red, means the given substance is acidic in nature. In the same way, you have taken suppose the red litmus paper and you have just tested the solution by dipping that red litmus into the solution, and suddenly the color of the litmus gets changed into blue. It means the given solution is basic in nature. So by changing the color of the litmus in red and blue, it shows us the characteristic of acidic and basic. Now, when we talk about the phenolphthalein, another synthetic, the two important mode that we take in lab is phenolphthalein and methylorane. So when we talk about the phenolphthalein, in this what happens beta, for the acids, no color change in case of phenolphthalein. In phenolphthalein there is no change in color. Okay, no change in color. If you have taken the phenolphthalein solution and you are mixing that in acid, it will not change any color. So means that there is no color change, the given substance is acid. But if the color is changing into the pink, means if you are getting pink color, it means the given substance or the solution is basic in nature. In case of phenolphthalein, it gives pink color for the basic solutions and it does not give any color for the acidic solutions. In the same way, we have turmeric. So turmeric also does not give any color for acids, but it shows color change when it gets some basic substance there and it gets changes into reddish brown color. So in this way, by changing the color, these indicators gives us idea about the substance, that whether it is acid or it is base. Now when we say about the indicators, then we have another type of indicators also called the olfactory indicators. Now what is the meaning of olfactory? So olfactory word is related to our smelling power. So olfactory indicators are the indicators which indicates about the acidic or basic nature with the smell. Means like some will give you the pungent smell, then you will come to know that whether it is acid or it is base. Some will give the rotten egg smell, then you have to predict that whether it is acid or it is base. So many type of smells are there. In this way you cannot know. So whenever you will do any practical or anything related to lab, then you will come to know that this type of smell indicates that whether it is acid or whether it is base. So related to indicators, it is clear. We have olfactory indicators in which we indicate about the acidic and basic nature by smelling the compounds, and the rest about the indicators I have explained you. Litmus paper is our natural indicator. It is formed from the lichens. It is formed from the lichen. Okay. Now And now we know that here, as we have talked about the indicators, so some indicators are showing the color for the acid, some are showing for the base, some are not showing for acids but are showing for the base. So in this way, then how it is possible that whether we will come to know that the substance, how we will, when suppose we are testing something, so we must know na, if it is not acid then we must come to know that whether it is base or not, or it is neutral compound, this also we must know. अगर एसिड नहीं है तो भी तो we have two chances that it can be neutral or it can be base. Now the indicators which are showing some property for, which are showing some color change for acid but not for base, or for base but not for acid, then it also creating a little problem for us. So to overcome this problem, we have the indicator that is applicable for all types of compounds. All types of compound means for acids, bases as well as neutral. And such indicators are called universal indicators. The indicators which help us in predicting all the nature, acid, basic as well as neutral. So such indicators are called the universal indicator. उसे हम क्या कहते हैं? Universal indicator. Now what is this universal indicator? So it is a type of a paper. This universal indicator is a type of a paper that is called pH paper. The paper that is called pH paper, and this pH paper shows us the different colors which help us, and with that different colors there are ranking also, and that ranking and color shows us about the nature, that whether it is acid, whether it is base or neutral. Now as I said you that pH paper tell us from the ranking. So how you will come there to know that which ranking is in ranking scale, which rank is showing us the acidic nature and which rank is showing us the basic nature. So students, let me introduce you with pH scale. Now we have one scale called pH scale which help us in telling that whether the given compound is acidic, basic or neutral. So that scale is called pH scale. It is a type of a scale like this. This is pH scale in which from 0 to 14 numbers are given. Okay, it is a type of a scale in which from 0 to 14 numbers are given, and at center 7 is marked, So the number from 0 to 7 will be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, then 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, and it is 14. It is 7, it is 0. Now, so we have a scale called pH scale which is ranking like this. It is from 0 to 14. And this is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12 and 13. Now beta, the number from 0 to 7 represent the acidic nature. The number from 0 to 7 represent acidic nature. And the number from 7 to 14 represent basic nature. The number from 7 to 14 represent basic nature. So when we use this pH paper or universal indicator for checking that whether the compound is acidic, basic or neutral, so that scale has different colors with such ranking, and according to the ranking, if the rank is between 0 to 7 means it is basic, 0 to 7 means it is acidic, from 7 to 14 means it is basic, or if it is 7 then it is neutral. This center point 7 represent neutral. This center point 7 represent neutral. So in this way we have pH paper which is universal indicator, which shows all types of the colors from orange to blue, different shades from orange to blue, and it also has ranking, which help us in predicting that whether the substance is showing us acidic nature, basic nature or neutral. So students, now today here in this class we have discussed about the physical properties of the acids, physical properties of the bases, about the indicators, about the olfactory indicators, about universal indicator, about pH paper and pH scale. Now in this pH scale also there is strong acid, mild acid, moderate acid, weak acid. Then here strong base, then moderate base, then mild base, then weak base. So in this way the numbers are there. Further, the more things you will come to know when we will discuss more about the topics. So I hope that the topics that I have discussed in today's class are clear to you. The rest topic we will discuss in next videos. Thank you and have a nice day ahead.